Hello, and thank you for listening to the Boze Knows, a podcast about QI Roberts Junior Senior High School in Putnam County, Florida. I'm your host, Mr. Boze, and today we have a special episode for you. We have some alumni of QI that have agreed to come back and talk about their experiences in college. Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. Please introduce yourselves, telling our listeners who you are, what class you graduated from, and where are you now? Whichever of you want to go first.
I can go first. My name is Danya Rafati. I graduated in the year of 2020. I was a COVID senior. And right now I go to SCAD. That's Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia, and I am a first quarter junior. I major in illustration, concentrating in concept design for animation and games, and I'm minoring in concept art for games.
My name is Eric Olmstead. I graduated last spring in the class of 2022. I'm currently going to Florida State University in the College of Music. I'm studying music composition.
Wonderful, and thank you both for joining me today. So first questions I have for you, and you can answer this either as you currently are as a college student or as when you were a QI student. It's up to you. So the first question is, what is your favorite subject or topic in school, and why?
I'll take that one. Obviously, mine was art. Clearly, because I go to an art school now, but generally, I guess it's more generalized in college now because all of my classes are art. But I really do appreciate my anatomy courses, especially because I go to concept design and I want to do character design focus. I think it's very helpful, and it's genuinely just a fun class to partake in. We get live models. We like to make fun of like anatomy online altogether. They're very laid back classes, and I just really, really enjoy them.
That's great. Eric, what about you?
My favorite classes, well, as a music student at FSU, music students jump directly into music courses, so I haven't really had a chance to explore any other subjects. My favorite subject is music, obviously, because I'm going to music, but other than that, I would say all the science courses that I took here at QI, I've enjoyed every single one of them. That's a big part to the wonderful science teachers that we had here, Mr. Brown and Dr. Helmy. Those are my favorites. I just enjoy learning about how our universe works, and in some cases, like in physics or chemistry, the mathematics behind it. It's all very interesting to me.
That's great. So the next question brings it back a little bit. What is your favorite QI story or tradition?
I can go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, I
take
got
that.
My favorite QI tradition is Senior Prank Day, and more specifically, the sticking of the sporks or forks in the courtyard out there. Now, I just walking in, I saw that it got paved. They put some stones in there, so unfortunately, we won't be able to do that anymore. But it was always such a fun tradition to just walk in on Senior Prank Day and see all the forks stuck in the ground.
See, I never got to partake in my senior prank. So my senior year was pretty dull, of course. I guess my favorite tradition, it'll take us way back to when I was in like 7th or 8th grade. I really liked water day. I was a swimmer my entire life, so I really like water. And so we stopped doing that, and it made me kind of sad. But we ended up switching over to the snow cones, Kona ice thing. But water day was pretty peak. I loved water day.
Those are some great stories and traditions there. So next question I have for the two of you is, if you could have coffee with anyone dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I would probably like to have a cup of joe with anyone at Riot Games in their concept art area, not the actual game development area. I hate the game, but their concept art team. I feel like I want to just have a little meeting with them and just see what they can come up with, because the ideas that they end up producing, I always keep up with their little concept blogs. They're really inspiring, and it's something that I could definitely look forward to every single day. So that'll be my answer.
If I could have a cup of coffee with anybody, I would choose John Williams, the great film composer, wrote music for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, countless things. I would love to talk to him and ask him about his composition process and see how he creates in his mind and how he's able to get that onto paper and then into the plates of musicians to record for movies. It's all very interesting to me.
Some very great coffee conversations there. Last question before we dive into the alumni specific questions. Quality, integrity, respect. Which one and why?
I'd have to say quality. Personally, even at like my job that I have right now, even in school, whatever, I'd rather do things at their best quality than have to worry about it later. A lot of things where I work now don't get done properly the first time, or they get done really horribly. So quality, it takes my number one spot in our little school motto.
If I had to choose one of them, I would choose respect. I feel that showing that you care and respect other humans is the most important thing you can do, and I would choose that over good work anytime.
Very good. So let's dive into it. The first of the alumni questions I have is, what is something that came easy to you once you got to college?
Well, since I do go to a specialized school, obviously it was the anatomy. Anatomy has always been my favorite part of the art field. It's just really fun to draw people and draw them in a stylized way, and have, like, I guess, feeling and emotion to it with just a single pose. And so whenever I went to college, I realized, like, wow, this sounds really mean, but like a lot of people don't really know how to draw as well as I assumed they would going into an art school. So I'm glad that I had that specialized subject, and I really got to like outshine a lot of my other classmates, which again sounds rude, but it really does make you feel good.
The thing that came easiest to me, if I would have to say, would be probably the little bit of adulting that a college student does. Making sure that you get up on time, making sure that you're eating, getting your homework done, exercising. I get energy whenever I take care of myself, so I found that very easy to do.
I'm glad that was easy for you. I can't really say the same.
Yeah, it took me a couple years to get that one figured out. So next question is kind of the other side of that spectrum. What was the biggest challenge adjusting to college life?
I will say what he said. My biggest challenge was becoming an adult and realizing that I can't like have my crappy little high school like sleep schedule, or like I can't not eat or eat too much. I have to be very mindful of my money. And like the way I can't be too tired or whatnot, because that's just going to put me behind. And I had a very big problem with that.
As a music student, time management for your classes is a little bit different than other classes, because as a music student, everybody practices on their primary instrument. And how much time you put into practicing dictates how well you do. And some people might need a little bit more practicing, some people might need a little bit less practicing, but I had trouble figuring out what worked for me with balancing practicing and the rest of my other classes. So in the first part of the semester, I was given a solo to learn by my clarinet instructor, and I did not practice enough, and I fell behind. So my clarinet grade is a little bit lower this semester than I would have wanted it to be, but I picked it up in the second half of the semester, so on the right track.
Very good. So next question is, we kind of talked about it a little bit before we hit record, but what were you involved in when you were here at QI? And then what are you now involved in at school?
I was mainly involved in anything that had to do with the arts. So I was a part of NHS. I was vice president and president for multiple years. I went to a lot of the Portfolio Day art trips to Miami and Sarasota. I went to every single one since I started in 9th grade. I participated in anything that had to do with like AS or A-level art, which we didn't really get to do A-level art because of certain circumstances, but anything that had to do with art, I was on it. It was my favorite thing to do, and it was just a very uplifting moment for me.
Here at QI, I was very involved with music and the band and pretty much nothing else. And after my transition to Florida State, during the fall, I joined the Marching Chiefs out there, which plays at various parades, but most notably the home football games at Florida State. They rehearse about 10 hours a week, sometimes more, so I would very confidently say that marching band. So I've not changed very much since high school with that.
10 hours.
I forgot to bring up what I did for college. I don't do much, but I do participate in our school's concept art club, which is the second largest club in our school. So we do a lot of really fun little activities. So that's what I do participate in.
So the concept art club, Danya, is that just like the kind of technique of making concept art, or do you guys like work on concept art for different things?
So it really depends person to person. We have a Discord server, of course, and we have like little channels where we can post the works in progress of classwork, our own personal work. We have channels to ask for opinions on work and what we should change, whatnot. It's kind of just like a community of like illustration majors who do want to go into concept art and like the video game animation major routes. It's more of a great way to make connections. SCAD is really amazing on making connections and getting you into the field as soon as possible. Like right when you graduate, they have I believe a 99%, a rate of people getting jobs immediately after graduating. They're really on top of that. So it's just a better way to build connections and like work together with people to hone your skills and just kind of exist in the art world.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm more familiar with the kind of video game stuff from Eric's side of things because I had several friends that were in acoustical engineering, so they ended up, a couple of them ended up, they're currently working for companies doing scores for video games and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And doing that kind of, that mastering.
That's really neat.
So, all right, now we got into the deep questions, and you feel free to answer honestly. Do you feel that you were prepared for college?
Yes and no. Since my school goes by quarters instead of semesters, I took the fall quarter off to kind of situate myself. And then winter quarter, that's when I started. So in the fall, no, I didn't feel prepared at all. Especially because we're such a small school. QI was such a small school. Our graduating class was really small and no one went into the art field. So I didn't know what to expect. The only thing that I could reference off of was like YouTube videos. And obviously that's not going to be accurate. You have to have like your own like experience. So in that aspect, no, I was not prepared at all, but I took time to like do a lot of research before I went in, and I felt like I was doing okay. I was doing a lot better than some of the other people in my classes, I will say.
We'll take relatively better for a win.
I found that going into the music program, The only reference of what it might have been like was the information I got from the band director here, Mr. Dew. He also went to Florida State about 20 years ago. So he told me a little bit about what the music school was like, but other than that, I didn't get any information. So the things that I could prepare, such as planning, getting meal plans and whatnot, and making sure that I had everything that I needed and was in the best mental state possible, yes, with that dynamic, I would say I was prepared. But jumping headfirst into the university, the music university life was a huge unknown, and it felt like a huge risk that I was taking. But after, it took about 2 months, but I got used to it finally, and I'm doing good now. So I was prepared in some ways, but in other ways I was not.
So that kind of leads me to another question. What do you think is one thing that kind of, if you would have known, would have made like a huge difference for you going into it?
I wish I knew how like lax a lot of the professors are in art school. Don't get me wrong, the courses themselves are incredibly vigorous. We have to get a whole like semester's worth of information and like exams, whatnot, out in a quarter. So it's very rigorous, but the professors really helped us settle into our own skin and understand who we are as artists. And that definitely did help a lot.
That's good. Eric, what about you?
Something that I wish I had known is that in college, you don't need to really worry about what anybody else thinks of you. In high school, we kind of get trained a little bit to think that way, but in college, it becomes very obvious to me at least, and to a lot of other people that I talk to notices that you're on your own. You only have to really worry about yourself. You can wear whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. As long as you're getting your stuff done, you will be successful.
Yeah, that's really good about college. It's very like you focused.
I do think that is, I think a good and bad about college for depending on the type of person that people are. You know, if you're driven, and I don't want to go as far as saying know what you want to do, but you know, if you're ready to learn new things and explore, which I think it sounds like both of you found that niche and kind of really took to it. But I think those students that go into college that are a little bit more a leaf on the wind maybe struggle a little bit.
No, and you see that a lot here. We have a great success rate, but we also have an incredible dropout rate here at SCAD. A lot of the freshmen going in spend either their first year or first quarter going through what they did not expect. They didn't expect the workload. They didn't expect that maybe art wasn't their passion, or their major wasn't their passion, or they think it's too hard, and they drop out. It's definitely something that you need to be positive about. You need to be certain about what you want to do, especially at this school, or else like you're not going to make it.
Yes, I found that to be the case at the music school at QI as well. There's a couple people down the hall who live from me, and I can divide them pretty much into two different sections. There's the driven people who know they want to do music and love it, and there's other people who, for whatever reason, are here, and it's obvious that music is not necessarily their passion. So it's interesting seeing the divide.
Right, so kind of next question, following the same vein, what advice would you give current QI students?
I would definitely say, if you have a passion that you really want to follow, please do not let anything else get in your way to go about following it. I grew up in a very traditional Middle Eastern household, They wanted me to be a doctor, a lawyer. They kept pushing it on me. And another reason why I took a quarter off before I went to college was because I didn't decide where I wanted to go until about August of 2020. I finally took it upon myself to not listen to what my parents wanted me to do, but actually just listen to what I wanted to do. And I knew I had the drive, and I knew I had the passion for art, and I had a really strong direction that I wanted to go in. And I decided to take it. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's really, really difficult. I've had a lot of mental health problems because of art school, or at least my school specifically. But I think this is one of the best decisions I've made in my entire life. And I think that other people need to make decisions like that too, because it's genuinely important. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make a lot of money, but I prefer making less money and being happy in the future. And I think a lot of people should do that as well.
Yes, that's awesome, Danya. I'm happy for you. That's awesome. Other than that, I would have, for my first thing, I would just repeat what you said, but I'll go for a second place. Study hard here. You, at QI Roberts, you're given an amazing opportunity to get not only a full Florida Bright Future scholarship, but many of the classes that you take here will count for courses you would have been required to take in college anyway. For example, the 2 English courses, the English language and English literature, at Florida State University, that knocked off 1 English course that I no longer have to take, which lets me focus on what I really want to study, which is music. So many of the other classes here, Mr. Brown's 2 science classes, knocked out my science requirements. So studying hard here not only helps your brain, gets you a full Bright Future scholarship, but it means you don't have to do as much in college.
Those both great advice. Thank you both. So the last question I have for you is, so what is next for the two of you?
So when I graduate, I'm going to do a couple internships during my years, but just to get the experience under my belt. But I want to work for a sort of like a gaming corporate company to get in that pipeline. I'm aiming for Riot, the creators of League of Legends, Valorant, Legends of Runeterra. I was going to go for Blizzard, but they've had some little controversies lately. But I think that even if the game sucks, the concept design area is always going to be amazing to me. The storytelling is going to be amazing to me. And as much as I hate League of Legends and Valorant, I do love the company's concept team and character design team. It's what my end goal is, and the day I get it, I think I'll be set.
I think that's great. And I think for everybody listening, that is an important thing to realize, is whether the video game, the movie, whatever it is you watch, whether that sucked, whether you think it sucked or not, someone spent a significant amount of their life making that happen.
Yeah.
So what's next for me? The stereotype for people with music degrees, other than education degrees, is that it is sometimes a little bit difficult to get a footing in the world to make some money. So the nature of my degree, my music composition degree, is that not many jobs require a composition degree to get work. It depends on the type of your composition if you're a good composer. So I'm going to Florida State to learn how to compose well and learn from other great people. And it might take me a little bit of time to get some footing. My dream end goal is to write music for media, such as movies or TV shows or video games. But it might take a little bit of time to get there, and I am perfectly ready, willing, and able to make money wherever I need to in order to continue my musical career.
That's great. I mean, you guys are like a computer programmer away from being able to make video games right now. We've got a concept artist and a composer. We just need a computer science major in here, and we'd be all set. Alrighty, before I let you go, do you have any media recommendations for our listeners? Any podcasts, books, movies, TV shows, anything?
Honestly, no. I kind of just like watch YouTube and chill, so I don't really have any recommendations.
That's okay. The YouTube recommended usually doesn't steer you too wrong.
Mm-hmm. No, I have nothing specific. Listen to music that you like. And listen to music that you don't like, because you might end up liking it.
That is true.
Very good. Thank you, Eric and Danya, for being here. Listeners, if you like the podcast, please be sure to subscribe so you can catch future episodes, and be sure to give QI Roberts Student Government a follow on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on future episodes and happenings around QI and a future alumni podcast. So if you like this one, there'll be at least one more here in the near future. If you feel we've earned it, please rate and review us on your podcast player of choice and share with a friend. Thank you, Knights, and remember, excellence in all endeavors.